Hello Logic Language Learners, welcome back. Now, same as normal, can I kindly ask if you enjoyed the video, can you give me a like? Can you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already? If there's anything that comes up in this video you want more information on, please don't hesitate to ask in the comments. You can also email me directly at logiclanguagelearning@gmail.com, all lowercase, all attached. And also, if there is a video on a topic that hasn't yet been covered, please do ask. I have an itchy nose, I apologise. So, this video will be about qui and que, and ce qui and ce que, okay? So, and it's been done on purpose to prepare you for the next video, which will be on how we say what's happening to somebody, because this is going to involve this difference between qui and que. So I strongly recommend that you watch that one, okay? So, it's a really dumb little rhyme, but for me it works. A to B equals qui. A to B equals qui. Let's talk about what's going on. So in English, we use the word that all over the place. So this is when we are talking about linking two different people, two different objects. So for example, let's say we have the woman that I know. And in basic common English, we will say the woman that I know. In fact, it becomes the woman that I know, okay? And we have all these who and whom and which things going on in English, all of which are completely correct, all of which have their place, but in common spoken English nowadays we just tend to say that. Yeah, the woman that I know, okay? Or the woman I know, we won't even bother. So if you are linking two clauses, two elements of a sentence, of an idea together, we're going to have one of these words, these relative pronouns, these words which combine the two together. So we are looking at which one we say in French, okay? So, the very big and obvious difference is there are two people in the sentence. So if I said the woman, here she is, here's first person, okay, there's one person doing something, the woman, I know. There are two people doing something in this sentence. There's the woman and there's I, me. But it's going to be I because it's with a verb, okay? So if we said the woman I know, who's doing the verb in the sentence? The verb is with I. Yeah, the verb is with I. Okay. Here's this big verb. The woman, something, I do the verb, and this is going to be que. Yeah. The dog that I hate, le chien que je déteste. Because who's doing the hating? I'm doing the hating. Okay? A to B equals qui. Now let's look. The woman, here she is, who loves me. Okay? Can't quite see these people. The woman who loves me. Okay? Let's do it up here. So in this sentence, the woman who loves me, we still have two people. We have the woman who loves me. The woman, me. The woman, me. Who's doing the verb this time? The woman who loves. Okay, here's the verb. Okay? So when your person, your subject, your little stick man, goes straight to the verb, we need qui. So the woman who loves me, la femme qui m'aime. So let's have a look at those. A to B equals qui. So we would have the woman who loves me, la femme qui m'aime, as opposed to the woman that I love, la femme que j'aime. Let's do two more. The house that I like. La maison is there. J'aime is there. Who's doing the verb? The verb has come after the second person. If the verb has come after the second person, I need que. The house isn't doing anything. To get the key, the person you say first has to be doing the verb. So the house that I like, la maison que j'aime. Okay? The house which is, we'll say in English, the house that is near to the church. So la maison, again, we're starting the sentence with la maison both times, which is here. We'll go with to shorten the sentence. Okay? The house da-da-da here. The house something here. The house da-da-da here. The house is doing the verb. So A to B gives us key. Okay? Let's do another one. The house that I like. Often in French we will say the house which pleases me. Okay? This expression plaire, I have done a video on this. This is how you fancy somebody, which is what we say in English, or find attractive. Okay? So, well, UK English we say fancy. Okay? You find them hot. Yeah? You say they please me. So this verb plaire. But for just normal objects and not people, plaire just basically means to like. It pleases you. If any of you have studied Spanish, you will be familiar with me gusta. Yeah, it pleases me, okay? You don't say I like, you say me gusta. To me, it pleases. Same in French. You might think, whoa, what is this crazy verb? I'm just used to using aimer. No, you're not. How do you say please? S'il te plaît, s'il vous plaît, play. Where does play come from? It comes from plaire. So if I said the house which pleases me, which is basically a roundabout way of saying, another way of saying the house I like. So who's doing the pleasing? The house. So la maison qui me plaît. Okay, P-L-A-I-T. La maison qui me plaît. Let's do a couple more. The boy I know. The boy is the first one out, the first person you're saying. Does he do the verb? No, so it's que. Le garçon que je connais. The boy who knows me. Okay, the boy is doing the knowing, so le garçon qui me connaît. Okay? Now, let's take this up a level. Okay? Let's take this up a level. When we use the word what, we've talked about different whats. We have talked about what at the end of a sentence, when you say tu fais quoi? Yeah, il mange quoi? What's he eating? We have talked about what at the beginning of a sentence when we say que, and an inversion, so que fais-tu? Yeah? We have talked about this que when it joins is it that, so que est-ce que becomes qu'est-ce que, what is it that? We've talked about what when we have what and an object, so what and a thing, so what time, quelle heure, à quelle heure, what age, quel âge. So we've talked about all these different whats. The one thing all of these whats have in common is they are all a question. They are all a question. Now let's look at a time in English when you use what when it is not a question. Okay? So, I like what Paul said. Okay? So we have I like, person one, what Paul said. Again, this idea of how many people are doing things. And this are in the sentence. And this time it's even more obvious because we have two people doing things. I like, there's my verb, what Paul said. Paul has his verb. Okay? So, if you have a change of person, yeah, if you have a change of person, the word for what is ce que. Two words actually. You are familiar with ce que because when you say because, you say parce que, by this, that. So, what when it is not a question, that's a way of thinking about it, is ce que. And I always get my students to say, a little bit American slang, you'd be a sucker if you forgot what when it wasn't a question. And this is going to be when you have two different people. So I like what Paul said. J'aime ce que Paul a dit. Paul likes what I think. Paul aime ce que je pense. That sounds weird. Let's say, Paul Paul agrees with what I have said. Paul est d'accord. Paul is of an accord with what, not a question, ce que j'ai dit. Ce que j'ai dit. You do one for me. I like what you are wearing. Verb to wear, porter. So porter. So we've got I like, j'aime. You wear, tu portes, with an S on the end, remember, because it's you. P-O-R-T-E-S. J'aime ce que tu portes. Okay? Now, attention. Ce que, when we have an il for he after it, will become... What do you think is going to happen to ce que and il? Ce qu'il. Okay? Ce qu'il. Which is not to be confused with ce qui, which is what we're about to be coming onto. Which is what we're coming onto in English. I wish I could speak English. Ce qu'il. Okay? So, what's the word for what when it's not a question? Ce que. Apart from this one, let's go back to what we were talking about with qui and que. When do we use qui? When the first person mentioned does the verb, or there's nobody new kind of being introduced to do a verb. Okay? So let's look. If I said, what's fantastic about France is the fact that, I'm not literally asking the question. I'm not saying, what is fantastic? Do please tell me what is fantastic. No, I'm not asking a question. Okay? So you might go, okay, Lucas said when what is not a question, I use ce que. But you can only do ce que if you then have another little stick man, if you then have a new person coming in. If you say, what is fantastic is ... What, pardon me, I'm being contacted, let me just get rid of this person. Okay, what is fantastic is going straight into the verb is. It's going straight into the verb. We don't have what Luke said, what Paul wears, what you think. We're going straight into the verb. What is? So think of this what as a person. Then we're going straight into the verb. And then we're carrying on the sentence. There's no new person. Yeah, it's not I like what Luke wants. I like what Paul said. I like what I am happy with what France has done. There's no new person or object or entity doing a verb. So when we have that, we have ce qui. Okay? So when you're writing your essays and you can begin, what is fantastic about the situation in France at the moment is we have a new president, whatever, okay? So we have ce qui est fantastique. Okay? Remember as well that this word will pop up all the these words, ce qui, will pop up all the time with happen. And I strongly recommend that you watch the video which is coming up next, which is on happening. So what's happening as a question is one thing. But if you're saying, oh, I'm not happy with what is happening, you're not saying I am not happy with what Luke is happening, or I am not happy with what Janet is happening. I am not happy with what is. You've gone straight from the what into the verb, and when you go straight from the what into the verb, ce qui. Okay? So let's resume this whole thing. When do we use qui? Okay? Qui can still be who. That's no problem. Qui can still follow, you know, the words with, for, prepositions, for whom, pour qui, with he, with who, with whom, avec qui. That's no problem. Qui is still who, or whom, in this case. Okay? But when we are using it, linking verbs together, we have the choice of qui or que. Okay, so let's have a quick think. This is, it's the boy that let me think, it's the boy who lives with me, it's the boy that lives with me, it's the boy, There we go.